Imagine standing on the edge of a great expansive forest, each tree representing an expectation, a tradition, a rule society asks you to follow. Now picture a woman walking alone, undeterred, choosing her own path. She steps into that forest, unafraid of the shadows, carving a trail where none existed before. Why is this image so captivating? Because it challenges something deeply ingrained in us, the belief that one must conform to belong. For centuries, we've been told a woman's journey is incomplete without a companion by her side, that her worth is tied to roles assigned by tradition. But what if fulfillment, true fulfillment, is found in defying these norms? This speech is not merely about walking alone, it's about walking in alignment with oneself. It's about courage to face the whispers of judgment, the raised eyebrows of doubt, and the silence that comes with solitude. But it's also about the profound freedom in that silence. When a woman chooses her own company, she becomes her own greatest I. She learns to celebrate the symphony of her own thoughts, to find joy in her rhythm, unchained from expectations. And here's the paradox: it's in solitude that one truly connects not just with oneself, but with the universe. The quiet opens a doorway to creativity, to boundless potential. A woman walking alone is not alone at all. She is surrounded by possibility. So if you're curious about the untapped power of stepping away from convention, if you want to explore what it means to live authentically and fearlessly, stay with me. Let us delve deeper into this walk where solitude transforms into strength and independence into inspiration. Together, let us redefine what it means to live a life fully one's own. Inner independence is a state of being where one derives strength, purpose, and fulfillment from within, rather than relying on external validations or relationships. For a woman who walks alone without a husband, this independence is not just a choice, but a profound statement of self-awareness and empowerment. It challenges societal norms that often define a woman's identity through her relationships rather than her individuality. This journey inward, while demanding, is one of the most rewarding paths to self-discovery and authenticity. Such independence begins with recognizing that self-worth does not require external affirmation. Society has long perpetuated the idea that a woman's life is incomplete without a partner, as though her existence is validated only through her role as a wife or mother. This conditioning can create a sense of inadequacy for those who choose a different path. Yet the woman who walks alone is not incomplete, she is whole in herself. Her journey is about realizing that she carries within her all the tools needed to thrive, to grow, and to create a meaningful life. This realization is not instantaneous, it is cultivated through moments of introspection, resilience, and self-love. Walking alone means embracing the unknown, stepping into a world where decisions are made without the safety net of someone else's input or reassurance. This independence does not come from rejecting others, but from understanding that one's inner compass is enough. The woman who embodies this knows how to listen to her own intuition, to trust her judgments, and to learn from her mistakes. Each step she takes, though solitary, is imbued with a sense of purpose, as it comes from her own desires and aspirations rather than fulfilling the expectations of others. This journey is also about facing fears. Society often associates being alone with loneliness, but the two are not synonymous. Loneliness is a lack, a yearning for connection, while being alone can be a space of great clarity and strength. It allows for deep reflection and fosters a profound connection with oneself. In solitude, a woman learns to be her own companion, to find joy in her thoughts, and to become her own source of comfort. It is in these moments that she discovers her true potential, when she no longer fears her own company but celebrates it. Inner independence is not devoid of challenges. The world around her may not always understand her choices. Friends, family, and acquaintances might question her decisions, wondering why she hasn't followed a more conventional path. These external pressures can be daunting, but they also serve as opportunities to reaffirm her commitment to her own truth. It takes immense strength to resist the pull of conformity, to stand firm in the face of judgment, and to continue walking a path that resonates deeply with one's soul. This independence also reshapes how she relates to others. A woman who walks alone is not disconnected from the world. In fact, she engages with it on her own terms. Her relationships are not born out of necessity or dependence, but out of mutual respect and genuine connection. She chooses to be with people who uplift her, who align with her values, and who understand her journey. Her independence is not a wall, but a bridge, a way of connecting authentically without losing herself in the process. Her strength lies in her ability to create a life that reflects her deepest values and passions. Whether it's pursuing a career, engaging in creative endeavors, or dedicating herself to causes she believes in, she is free to shape her existence without compromise. This freedom allows her to live authentically, to embrace her quirks and imperfections, and to celebrate her unique essence. She is not bound by the expectations of what she should be, but is free to become who she truly is. Inner independence is also a gift to others. By walking her path unapologetically, she inspires those around her to question their own assumptions and limitations. She becomes a living example of what it means to live fully and fearlessly. Her presence challenges traditional narratives and opens the door for others to explore their own definitions of happiness and fulfillment. In this way, her independence ripples outward, touching the lives of those who witness her journey. This way of being is a testament to the human spirit's ability to thrive when untethered from external expectations. It is not about rejecting love or companionship, but about finding these things from a place of completeness rather than need. A woman who walks alone is not waiting for someone to complete her. She is already whole. Her journey is not one of isolation, but of integration, of bringing her full self into every moment, every interaction, and every choice. Her inner independence transforms her life into a canvas where she paints with the colors of her own choosing. Each decision, no matter how small, becomes an act of self-expression and empowerment. The courage it takes to walk alone becomes her strength, and the freedom she gains becomes her greatest reward. In her solitude, she finds not emptiness, but a space to create, to grow, and to truly live. Breaking norms begins with the audacity to question what has always been accepted. A woman who walks alone without a husband challenges one of society's most ingrained expectations, the belief that a woman's life must be intertwined with that of a partner to be meaningful or complete. This act of defiance is not a rejection of love or relationships, but a refusal to be confined by roles that do not align with her truth. It is a powerful statement that identity is not tethered to tradition, but shaped by individuality. Norms are often invisible, so deeply rooted in culture and collective consciousness that they go unquestioned. From an early age, many women are subtly, and sometimes overtly, taught that their ultimate fulfillment lies in marriage and family. The image of the perfect life is painted with broad strokes, often leaving no room for deviation. The woman who walks her own path sees this picture for what it is, a reflection of societal expectations rather than personal truth. She dares to pick up the brush and paint a new picture, one that reflects her desires, passions, and dreams. Walking against the current of tradition requires immense strength. It means facing not only external resistance, but also the internal voice that has absorbed societal conditioning over the years. This voice whispers doubts, asks questions, and sometimes feeds fears. What if I'm wrong? What if I'm missing out? But breaking norms is not about erasing these doubts. It is about moving forward despite them. It is about realizing that the true measure of a life well lived is not conformity, but authenticity. The act of breaking norms does not happen in isolation. Society often reacts to those who choose different paths with discomfort or even hostility. A woman who chooses independence may face judgment from family, friends, and strangers. Questions arise, not out of curiosity, but out of an attempt to reconcile her choices with traditional beliefs. Why hasn't she settled down? What's wrong with her? These reactions are less about her and more about the discomfort that her choices evoke in others. Her existence challenges the status quo, forcing people to confront their own assumptions and the limitations they impose on themselves and others. In breaking these norms, she discovers the profound freedom of self-definition. She is no longer bound by the expectations of what she should be, but is free to explore who she truly is. This exploration is not without challenges, but it is deeply rewarding. It opens doors to experiences and opportunities that might otherwise have remained closed. It allows her to define success, happiness, and fulfillment on her own terms. Whether she chooses to focus on a career, immerse herself in creative pursuits, or simply enjoy the journey of self-discovery, she does so as the architect of her own life. Her defiance of norms also creates space for new possibilities. By choosing a path less traveled, she becomes a trailblazer, carving out new ways of being that others can follow. Her courage to stand apart inspires others to question their own lives and consider whether they are living authentically or simply following the script handed to them. She becomes a beacon of possibility, showing that there is more than one way to live a meaningful life. Breaking norms does not mean rejecting tradition outright, but rather examining it critically. Traditions can be valuable, providing a sense of identity and continuity, but they should not come at the expense of individual freedom. A woman walking alone navigates this balance with grace, keeping what resonates with her values and leaving behind what does not. Her life becomes a testament to the idea that it is possible to honor the past without being bound by it. The path she walks is not a solitary one in spirit, even if it is in practice. By stepping outside the norm, she connects with others who have done the same. These connections may be rare, but they are profound, rooted in mutual understanding and shared courage. Her journey becomes part of a larger narrative of women and men who have dared to live differently, to question the rules, and to find fulfillment on their own terms. Breaking norms is not an act of rebellion for rebellion's sake. It is an act of self-liberation. It is about choosing authenticity over acceptance, substance over appearance. It is about living a life that is a true reflection of one's values and dreams rather than a performance designed to please others. For the woman who walks alone, this is not just a choice, but a necessity, a way of honoring her own voice in a world that often tries to silence it. In this process, she discovers the profound strength that comes from standing in her truth. Each time she says no to something that doesn't align with her values, she says yes to herself. Each step she takes away from convention is a step towards self-empowerment. This journey is not easy, but it is transformative, turning fear into courage, doubt into conviction, and conformity into freedom. The norms she breaks are not just barriers for herself, but for others who will follow in her footsteps, inspired by her courage to walk a different path. Authenticity and courage are intertwined, forming the essence of a woman who walks her path alone without a husband. To live authentically is to embrace the truest version of oneself, unfiltered and uninfluenced by external pressures. Yet, in a world that often demands conformity, authenticity is not without its challenges. It requires immense courage to stand firm in one's truth, especially when that truth defies societal norms and expectations. For a woman choosing to walk alone, authenticity is both her guiding light and her armor, and courage is the force that propels her forward. To be authentic, she must first confront the layers of conditioning that society has imposed upon her. From an early age, she may have been taught that her value is linked to her roles as a wife, a mother, or a caregiver. These narratives, though deeply ingrained, do not define her. Authenticity demands that she peel back these layers, question their validity, and uncover who she truly is beneath them. This process is neither quick nor easy. It is a journey of self-exploration that requires vulnerability and honesty. It means acknowledging her fears, insecurities, and desires without judgment, and accepting herself fully as she is. Living authentically often places her in opposition to societal expectations, and this is where courage comes into play. Courage is not the absence of fear, but the willingness to act despite it. To walk alone in a world that often measures worth by marital status or relational ties is to face a constant stream of questions, assumptions, and judgments. People may view her choices as unconventional, or even as acts of rebellion. They might project their own insecurities onto her, questioning how she could possibly find happiness or fulfillment outside the traditional framework. Facing this scrutiny requires a steadfast belief in her own path and the courage to walk it, no matter how rough the terrain. Courage is also needed to navigate the unknown. Authenticity is not a fixed state, but an evolving journey. As she grows and changes, so too does her understanding of herself and her desires. Walking alone means making decisions without a roadmap, guided only by her inner compass. It means taking risks, trying new things and sometimes failing, all while resisting the urge to fall back into familiar patterns of conformity. Each step she takes into uncharted territory is a testament to her bravery, a declaration that she values her truth above the comfort of the known. Authenticity and courage are particularly powerful in the face of relationships. For a woman walking her own path, relationships are not a means of completing herself, but opportunities for connection that enhance her already complete existence. This perspective requires a different kind of courage, the courage to set boundaries, to demand respect, and to walk away from relationships that do not align with her values. It also means embracing vulnerability, the willingness to be seen as she truly is, without masks or pretense. This kind of openness can be terrifying, but it is also deeply rewarding, fostering connections that are genuine and meaningful. Choosing authenticity also means embracing the possibility of solitude. While the world often equates being alone with being lonely, a woman who lives authentically understands the difference. Solitude becomes a space for reflection, growth, and creativity. It allows her to hear her own thoughts without the noise of external influences, and to nurture the relationship she has with herself. This relationship is the foundation of her authenticity, the wellspring from which her courage flows. In solitude, she learns to trust herself, to rely on her own wisdom, and to find joy in her own company. The courage to be authentic extends beyond her personal life and into the world. By living her truth, she challenges the status quo and inspires others to do the same. Her presence becomes a beacon for those who feel trapped by societal expectations, but lack the courage to break free. She shows that it is possible to live a life that is both deeply personal and profoundly impactful, a life that is a reflection of one's own values rather than a response to external pressures. In this way, her authenticity becomes a form of quiet rebellion, a statement that true power lies in being oneself. Authenticity and courage are not static qualities, but practices that she must choose every day. There will be moments of doubt, times when the weight of judgment or the lure of conformity feels overwhelming. In these moments, she must remind herself why she chose this path in the first place, to live a life that is honest, meaningful, and her own. This commitment to authenticity is an act of self-love, a declaration that she is worthy of living a life that aligns with her deepest truths. Through her authenticity, she finds freedom. She is no longer bound by the expectations of others or the fear of judgment. She is free to explore, to grow, and to create a life that reflects her unique essence. Her courage allows her to face challenges with grace and resilience, turning obstacles into opportunities for growth. In living authentically, she not only liberates herself, but also paves the way for others to do the same, proving that a life lived in truth is a life well lived. Freedom in solitude is a profound experience, one that often defies conventional understanding. For a woman who walks alone without a husband, solitude is not a state of lack, but a chosen space where she can fully embrace herself. In solitude, she discovers an unbounded sense of freedom, unburdened by societal expectations, relational compromises, or external validations. It is within this quiet, solitary space that she uncovers the depth of her inner world and finds the liberty to live life on her own terms. In solitude, freedom begins with time. The absence of external demands allows her to reclaim her time entirely for herself. She decides how to spend her hours, her days, her life. This freedom of choice might seem simple, but it is transformative. She no longer needs to adjust her schedule for anyone else's priorities or expectations. She can wake up when she feels ready, dedicate hours to pursuits that ignite her passion, or simply spend a day in reflection without the need to justify it. Time becomes her ally, a resource she can shape to suit her rhythm and goals. This freedom also manifests in the choices she makes. Without the weight of collective decision-making, she can follow her instincts and desires without compromise. Whether she chooses to travel, change careers, pursue an unconventional hobby, or explore new philosophies, she does so with the understanding that her life is hers alone to direct. This autonomy is not selfish, but deeply empowering. It allows her to live authentically, guided by her own values rather than the influence of others. Each decision, no matter how small, becomes an expression of her individuality and a celebration of her independence. Solitude also frees her from the constant need to perform or conform. In the presence of others, there is often an unspoken pressure to fit into roles or meet expectations. Whether it is the role of a partner, friend, or member of a community, these roles can sometimes feel constraining, demanding that she mold herself to fit the needs or perceptions of others. In solitude, she sheds these roles. She can simply be herself, free of masks or pretenses. This authenticity is liberating, allowing her to reconnect with her truest self without the distractions of societal expectations. The freedom found in solitude extends to her thoughts and emotions. Without external noise, she has the space to reflect deeply on her experiences, beliefs, and desires. She can confront her fears, celebrate her achievements, and process her emotions without judgment or interruption. This introspection is a gift, enabling her to understand herself on a profound level. It fosters self-awareness and self-acceptance, laying the foundation for personal growth and inner peace. In this quiet space, she becomes her own confidante, her own guide, learning to trust her intuition and value her insights. Creativity flourishes in solitude, a freedom that allows her to explore her imagination without constraints. Without the distractions of daily interactions or the need to cater to others, her mind is free to wander, to dream, to create. Whether she channels this creativity into art, writing, problem-solving, or innovative thinking, solitude becomes a fertile ground for new ideas and perspectives. This creative freedom is not just about producing something tangible, but about experiencing the joy of uninhibited expression. It is about tapping into her potential and discovering the vastness of her capabilities. The freedom in solitude is also freedom from judgment. In the company of others, there is often an unspoken awareness of being observed, evaluated, or compared. This awareness can shape behavior, leading her to act in ways that align with expectations rather than her authentic self. In solitude, this pressure disappears. She is free to make mistakes, to experiment, to try and fail without fear of criticism. This freedom to fail is vital as it encourages growth and resilience. It allows her to take risks and explore paths she might otherwise avoid, knowing that her self-worth is not contingent on external approval. Solitude also brings freedom in relationships. A woman who walks alone does not seek relationships out of need or dependence, but out of genuine connection and mutual respect. She is free to choose the people she allows into her life, to set boundaries that protect her energy and values, and to walk away from relationships that no longer serve her. This freedom transforms her relationships, making them healthier, more balanced, and more fulfilling. By valuing her solitude, she ensures that her connections with others are built on a foundation of authenticity rather than obligation. The freedom of solitude is not isolation, it is a space of empowerment. In this space, she discovers the strength to stand alone, the courage to chart her own course, and the joy of living life on her own terms. It is a freedom that teaches her to be her own companion, to find solace in her own company, and to celebrate the unique path she has chosen. In solitude, she realizes that she is enough, that her life is complete as it is, and that the possibilities before her are limitless. Redefining success is an act of liberation for a woman who walks alone without a husband. It requires dismantling the conventional narratives that often defines success by external markers, marriage, family or so status, and replacing them with her own unique metrics. This process is not merely about rejecting traditional definitions, but about creating a framework that aligns with her values, desires, and aspirations. In doing so, she transcends societal expectations, carving out a path that reflects her authentic self and celebrates her individuality. Traditional notions of success often confine women to roles that prioritize their relationships over their personal fulfillment. These roles, while meaningful to some, can feel restrictive or irrelevant to others. A woman walking her own path must confront these societal norms and question their relevance to her life. This questioning is not an act of rebellion, but of self-awareness. It involves asking profound questions. What does success mean to me? What do I truly desire? These reflections lead her to redefine success in a way that is deeply personal and empowering. Her definition of success may take many forms, each as unique as she is. For some, it might involve pursuing a career that challenges and inspires them, allowing them to contribute meaningfully to their field or community. For others, success might mean exploring creative passions such as writing, art, or music, and finding joy in self-expression. It could also encompass personal growth, such as achieving inner peace, developing resilience, or fostering a deep connection with oneself. Whatever shape it takes, her success is rooted in authenticity, reflecting her deepest truths rather than societal pressures. This redefinition requires courage, as it often means standing apart from the crowd. Society frequently measures a woman's success by her relationships, viewing milestones like marriage and motherhood as the ultimate achievements. For a woman who chooses a different path, these expectations can feel like a constant weight, a reminder of the standards she has chosen to reject. She must have the strength to resist the pull of conformity, to stand firm in her choices even when they are misunderstood or criticized. This strength comes from within, fueled by her belief in her own vision of success. In redefining success, she also reclaims her agency. No longer bound by external expectations, she becomes the architect of her own life. She sets her own goals, chooses her own priorities, and decides how to measure her achievements. This autonomy is empowering, allowing her to live intentionally and with purpose. It frees her from the need to seek validation from others, as her sense of fulfillment comes from within. Her achievements, big or small, are celebrated not because they meet societal standards, but because they resonate with her own values and aspirations. Redefining success also involves embracing failure as a natural part of the journey. Traditional narratives often equate success with perfection, leaving little room for mistakes or setbacks. A woman walking her own path understands that failure is not the opposite of success, but an integral part of it. Each misstep is an opportunity to learn, to grow, and to refine her vision. This perspective allows her to take risks, to pursue her dreams without fear of judgment or ridicule. She sees her failures not as a reflection of her worth, but as stepping stones toward her goals. Her journey redefines success not just for herself, but for others as well. By living authentically, she challenges societal norms and opens the door for others to explore their own definitions of fulfillment. She becomes a role model for those who feel constrained by traditional expectations, showing that there is no single path to happiness or achievement. Her life becomes a testament to the power of individuality, inspiring others to break free from societal constraints and pursue their own unique paths. This redefinition of success is also deeply connected to her sense of self-worth. Society often ties a woman's value to her ability to meet certain benchmarks, such as getting married or having children. By rejecting these metrics, she asserts that her worth is intrinsic, not dependent on her relationship status or external achievements. This self-acceptance is liberating, allowing her to embrace herself fully, flaws and all. It also fosters a sense of inner peace, as she no longer feels the need to compare herself to others or live up to their expectations. Her new definition of success is dynamic, evolving as she grows and changes. It is not a fixed destination, but an ongoing journey, one that reflects her changing priorities and desires. This flexibility allows her to adapt to life's uncertainties, to find meaning and fulfillment in every stage of her journey. Whether she is achieving a long-held goal, exploring a new passion, or simply enjoying the present moment, she finds success in the act of living authentically and intentionally. Through this process, she discovers that success is not about meeting societal standards, but about living a life that feels true to herself. It is about finding joy in the journey, celebrating her unique path, and embracing the freedom to define her own story. Her success is not measured by others' expectations, but by her ability to live fully, courageously, and unapologetically as herself. The journey of self-discovery and independence is both an act of courage and an evolving process of growth. For a woman who walks alone without a husband, this journey becomes a profound exploration of who she truly is, unencumbered by societal roles or external expectations. It is through this exploration that she learns to rely on herself, trust her instincts, and cultivate a deep sense of self-awareness. Independence does not simply mean living alone, making decisions unaided. It signifies a state of mind and inner strength that allows her to navigate the world with confidence and resilience. Self-discovery begins with the willingness to look inward, to peel back the layers of conditioning and uncover the essence of her being. From an early age, women are often guided by societal narratives that prioritize roles over individuality. The roles of wife, mother, or caregiver are frequently elevated, sometimes at the expense of personal identity. For a woman walking her own path, breaking free from these expectations is a necessary step toward discovering who she is beyond those roles. It is a journey that requires honesty and introspection, as she questions what she truly values, what brings her joy, and what defines her sense of purpose. This process of self-discovery is not linear. It involves moments of clarity as well as periods of doubt and uncertainty. Each experience, whether joyful or challenging, becomes an opportunity for growth and learning. She may find herself revisiting old beliefs, shedding those that no longer serve her, and embracing new perspectives that align with her evolving understanding of herself. Through this, she discovers that her identity is not fixed but fluid, a tapestry woven from her experiences, choices, and reflections. Independence, as she comes to understand, is more than just the ability to stand on her own. It is the freedom to define her life according to her own terms. This freedom comes with responsibilities, as she alone is accountable for her decisions and their outcomes. Yet this accountability is empowering, as it reinforces her autonomy and strengthens her self-reliance. She learns to trust her intuition, to make choices with conviction, and to navigate challenges with grace. Each step she takes toward independence reinforces her sense of self and deepens her confidence in her ability to thrive. Her independence is also reflected in the way she interacts with the world. Free from the need to conform to traditional expectations, she can engage with life authentically and unapologetically. This authenticity allows her to form connections that are genuine and meaningful, built not on obligation but on mutual respect and understanding. Whether these connections are with friends, family, or a wider community, they enrich her life without compromising her individuality. She learns that independence does not mean isolation, but the ability to choose relationships that support and uplift her. The journey of independence also involves embracing her vulnerabilities. Society often equates strength with invulnerability, but she comes to understand that true independence includes the courage to acknowledge her fears, insecurities, and imperfections. By facing these aspects of herself, she becomes stronger, more resilient, and more compassionate. She learns that asking for help when needed does not diminish her independence, but enhances it, as it allows her to draw on the strength of others while remaining true to herself. As she deepens her sense of independence, she also discovers the joy of self-sufficiency. She learns to provide for her own needs, whether practical, emotional, or spiritual. This self-sufficiency brings a sense of pride and fulfillment, as she realizes that she is capable of creating a life that sustains and nourishes her. She learns to celebrate her achievements, no matter how small, and to find satisfaction in her ability to navigate life's complexities on her own terms. Her journey of self-discovery and independence also challenges societal norms and inspires others. By living authentically, she becomes a living example of what is possible when a woman chooses to prioritize her own growth and happiness. Her courage to walk alone, to define success and fulfillment for herself, resonates with those who feel constrained by traditional expectations. She shows that independence is not about rejecting relationships or responsibilities, but about embracing the freedom to live a life that is true to oneself. Through her journey, she discovers that self-discovery and independence are not destinations but ongoing processes. Each new experience, whether planned or unexpected, becomes an opportunity to learn more about herself and to refine her understanding of what independence means. This continuous evolution keeps her journey dynamic and fulfilling as she adapts to the changing circumstances of her life while remaining grounded in her values and aspirations. Her journey is not just about finding herself, but about becoming the fullest expression of who she is. It is about embracing her uniqueness, celebrating her strengths, and learning from her challenges. It is about living with intention, making choices that align with her values, and creating a life that reflects her authentic self. Through self-discovery and independence, she not only transforms her own life, but also contributes to a broader narrative of empowerment and possibility, showing that the journey of walking alone can be one of profound meaning and joy.